The new album, Hope and Ruin from the Trews, you guys actually recorded that at the Tragically Hip's Bathhouse Studios. What was that like for the band?
One of the best experiences in my life. Gord Sinclair co-produced the album. He's the bass player for the Hip, and he and my brother co-produced the album together. And it was really cool. It was one of those things where we sort of started off the year not really knowing what to do, and he called us up in January and said, in 2010 January, he said, guys, there's some availability at the Bathhouse. Why don't you guys come out and demo? And we went out there for 5 days and started writing and recording songs. And we were like, this doesn't sound like a demo. This sounds like an album. So we were having so much fun, and it was just such a beautiful scene out there. We'd live out there, like all the beds and stuff are upstairs, and downstairs is the recording studio and the kitchen. And we basically stay up all night recording, wake up at like noon, have breakfast and coffee, and then we go into the living room and take out the guitars, and whoever had an idea that day, I'll check this lick out, or I got this lyric, or I got this melody, and we'd go to work on it, and by 4 or 5 we'd have an arrangement worked out. We'd break for supper and then start recording around 6 or 7 and record all night, and then just as the dawn was breaking, we'd have a song recorded. So it was pretty exciting, pretty special kind of experience.
That sounds like an amazing way to record an album.
Yeah, it was needed. We decided this time around we didn't want to have any pressure. We just wanted to go out and have fun. And like everybody always talks about how fun and great the Trews live are. We're like, why don't we just bring that vibe into the studio? Like, let's just go in and have fun. Let's make the music we want to make. And not that we haven't done that in the past, but let's make a music that represents us now. And let's have fun and enjoy it. And everybody brings something to the table, and hopefully we'll have a really great album at the end of it. And I think we accomplished that. Everybody I've shown the record to now so far has been like, it's one of those albums that you can listen to over and over and over again, and discover new things every new listen. It's not a one-trick pony. It's very eclectic, but also it all fits under the kind of Trews umbrella. It doesn't sound like a different band every song. So I really hope people like it as much as I like it, because it was a really great way to make an album.
And when you talk about trying to capture that live feel that you guys do have, you recorded the album basically live, right? Like it was just...
Yeah, it was all live off the floor. We, like I said, we'd get out in the afternoon and we'd just work with acoustic guitars and throw around ideas, and then by about 6 or 7, it was time to go plug in the amplifiers, and we'd all be there on headphones in the live room, and playing on some beautiful vintage guitars that they have out there, and we just lay down the track and run it about 2 or 3 times to get comfortable, and then record it maybe 4 or 5 times, and it was usually take 3 or 4 that was the best, and then after that, like, they were all working up to the best take, and then after that the takes got a little worse. But yeah, everything here, all the beds are all live.
Well, and most people don't know, most albums are recorded like in parts, like someone would go in and lay down the guitar and then the vocal would come in. So doing it this way, is this how you guys would like to do it going forward?
Absolutely. Because like, what people like about rock and roll and what people like about bands is like, it's not about just technical proficiency and having the vocal perfectly on the grid and on the computer, or punching in the right guitar sound every bar. That's like, I think what people relate to in rock bands is the character of the band, and the character of the band is like the way a certain guy plays guitar, the way a certain guy sings, the sound of a certain guy's voice. It's like you can make these perfect recordings, but you're going to lose all of the uniqueness that the Trews have. And like, one thing about us playing together for so long, there's something that we can do that nobody else can do, which is play as the Trews, because no one else has played 250 Trews songs, 250 Trews shows a year for the last 10 years, except for the Trews. So it's like, we wanted to bring that out on an album, and so it can be unique and be its own thing.
Well, and the praise is coming left and right. Performer magazine actually just said that you guys are, without a doubt, the greatest rock band of your generation.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That's high praise, and that's an American publication, which is interesting. And they went on to talk about the injustice of us not breaking the States properly, but we still have hope there. That was really cool. It's like, that's really high praise. I don't even know how to respond to it except for thank you very much.
It is a hard thing to respond to, but it is.
I'm sure there's lots of people that would argue to the contrary, but you take it where you can. We've been People have praised us, people have dumped all over us over the years, and we just can't really believe either, because one will make you think you're bigger than you really are, and the other will make you want to crawl into a hole. So you just got to take it as it comes and try not to get too high and mighty.
That's probably the best way to look at it, because you do say that there is that other end of the spectrum, and one thing I've heard is people like, they've gotten a little mellow over the last few years.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your thought when people say that about the band?
Well, the new record's got we started with the acoustic record obviously brought out the mellow, but our whole way of going about things is whatever the best song is, that's where we're going. And there's a couple of really heavy songs in the new record, but they came really organically. We didn't want to force a heavy sound. No Time for Later was probably our heaviest kind of rock album. We just wanted to go with the best tune, the most tuneful song, and I remember, something that was memorable and melodic and had some good words, and we kind of like to have people leaving the shows humming the tunes, and they don't necessarily just we kind of, I guess, defy a genre, because we don't just go with a style. We'll go with, okay, well, this is the best song that we have right now. Let's treat it accordingly, and kind of just serve the song. Let the song be number one. And if it's a really mellow acoustic song, then we'll do it that way. If it's a real barn burner heavy tune, then we're going to do it that way. So that's kind of the way we approach it. But there are some pretty good heavy tunes on the new record.
Well, and that's the best way to I think be honest to the music, is just to let it grow organically. So when you have a heavy tune, it's organic and it won't feel forced. And I think people will embrace that when they get their hands on this new album. It's still got a little bit of a weight.
Exactly.
The song Hope and Ruin, how did that one come about? What was the writing process and inspiration for that song?
It was my brother, John Angus, had a really nice melody and guitar progression, which goes back to, I don't know if I mentioned this to you already, but everybody brought in ideas for this album. It wasn't kind of like a one guy bringing in all the songs. He came in with this really nice melodic, slow kind of song, and I had a set of lyrics called Hope and Ruin. I written for another song that wasn't so good, and but I always liked the Hope and Ruin, just sort of stuck in my head as a good title. And he just played it, and then Sean, our drummer, said, I really like that, but you should speed it up a bit and kind of put that kind of thumping beat behind it, that pounding beat. And then I just took all this whole set of lyrics from another song and just put them over that, and then we had the song, and it was in about 10 minutes. And the line Hope and Ruin actually came from, there was a Rolling Stone magazine in our rehearsal space from when Michael Jackson passed away, and it was a picture of his really plastic surgeried face. That's not even a word, plastic surgery. But it was just, the caption said Hope and Ruin, and I was like, okay, well, isn't that life? So I put it on as the title of the song, and it ended up being on. And it wasn't going to be the title of the record, but that's what the label and the other guys in the band thought it was the best title for the album. So here it is. Well,
it kind of encompasses the yin and the yang of life. So I think it's a very fitting title for an album and a song, and people are absolutely loving it. So
cool, man. Well, I'm so happy to hear that.
It's a smart decision.
Thanks, man.
You guys are going to be back in town April 19th at the Seahorse. What can people expect out of that show? Is it going to be a plugged-in?
This is basically what we've decided to do to kind of this will be our fourth studio release in Canada and our fifth release if you count the acoustic album. And we just are trying to find interesting and neat ways to kind of promote it. And what we think we might do is what we're trying to do across the country is play really loud rock shows in the smallest possible venues. And we're trying to do it. What we're trying to do is deafen our fan base. Even if our music gets worse, they'll still buy the records. No, I'm just kidding.
That is a good business strategy.
Yeah, there you go. No, but what we wanted to do is just, it's like a fan only thing, because the way you get tickets to these shows is if you buy the record or pre-order the album, you get a ticket to the exclusive fan shows across the country. So everybody that pre-orders the album in Halifax or buys it on the day of the release, I don't think it only has to go. It all has to be bought through the website. Sorry.
Okay.
Mine is not working. But so have everybody go out and buy the album through the website and get a ticket to the show, and then we'll go in and play a full-on rock show in small clubs, and we're doing that in Halifax, Toronto, Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver.
Before I let you go, I want to ask you a little bit about your trip down to Australia. Apparently it went really, really well. Tell me about that, and also tell me about probably one of the most famous Aussies ever is now a big fan of you guys.
That's right. It went really well. It was one of those things where we went down. We were there in October, and we did a really quick tour. It was like a 2-week, all over the country kind of tour, like a whirlwind, playing every night. And then we thought, this could be a good market. Australians are very similar to Canadians, kind of a similar kind of laid back kind of way about them, and everybody seemed to really dig the Trews. And we ended up getting a really good agent down there and got a co-manager, and we figured it was definitely something worth investigating further. So we went down for 5 weeks this time around and kind of just concentrated on the Sydney area and the Melbourne area, and ended up having some great shows. We were playing like 5 nights a week, and got the radio station really into the band down there. And then I was looking on Twitter one night, and there Russell Crowe was talking about how much he liked the band. So it's like, his word's pretty good all over the world, but especially in Sydney, Australia.
Oh yeah, that's I think the official country stamp of approval.
Yeah, there you go. And it was funny, once he said that, everywhere we went, all the people at all the radio stations were like, "Oh, this is the Russell Crowe approved Trews." I sent him an email afterwards. I said, "Hey man, I really appreciate your shout out." And I invited him to a show, but he's such a celebrity and famous dude that it's just too hard for him to go anywhere without getting kind of hassled. So he sent me back. He sent another Twitter right before we left and said, thanks to the Trews for coming to Australia. You came, you rocked. We'll see you next time. So that was really nice of him.
Yeah, you'll have to find a way to work him in, to get him on stage with you, or get him in the studio with you.
I heard he did a really mean cover of Folsom Prison Blues, and we were going to learn that one and tell him to come up and, after a few pints of Cooper's, which is the local Aussie beer, we'd get him on stage to play a few tunes of this, which would be cool.
That would be awesome. Record that show if it happens.
Oh, we will. YouTube it, baby.